This video is to show you how to use the software produced by Tri-State Consultants and StudyTheCode.com. First, we will go to our Start menu and go to All Programs. We would go to Tri-State Consultants, and for this case we're going to do the 2006 IRC Building version 1.4. As you will notice, it will pop up on the screen. This has to do with all of our software. We're just using today the 2006 IRC Building version 1.4. We have a learning mode, a certification mode, and a flashcard mode. First thing we're going to do first is go with our learning mode. I want you to first we're going to go to Figure Options. We can click here, or we can go up to the Option button, either one, and click. You'll notice we have several items. One is Shuffle Questions. Show me instant feedback if it's incorrectly or correctly. You have a back button and mark questions feature. Also show answers and show hidden buttons, and show my score as I take the test. You can click these on or off as you see fit. As the default, we have them set here. The next item is Choose Categories, which I can use my button at this point here, or I can go up and click the category button. If you'll notice here on this test, we have chapters 1 through 10. I can add them all, as you see here, or I can bring them back, and I can click on each individual chapter and add a chapter at a time. What we recommend people doing is they may want to take a sample test with all of the questions as you see here, and then if they start having a problem in a particular chapter, for instance, maybe I'm having trouble with chapter 5, I can click on chapter 5. Whoop, that didn't work. I click on chapter 5 and add the one chapter, and I would just study questions from chapter 5. You will notice here that the default is 5 questions per category. The minimum you can have is 2. So for this example, we're going to use 2 questions. We're going to have per category. Okay, now to start my learning mode, I click here and it generates a test. Several items I want you to see on this is, one, you will notice we have to where we can mark and review questions. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Also, we can change the text size. So if you need larger text, you can create it here and just increase the text size. Also, you will notice our score. We have buttons down here, our explanation button, show answers, back button, next, and end. I normally recommend people, of course, this study CD is for the IRC portion, or the building code portion of the International Residential Code, the 2006 version. Now, this is mainly for people wanting to learn more about the code, or people that are preparing for their IRC certification test. How I recommend you do this, the purpose of this study CD is teaching you how to find things in your code book, not a memorization of memorizing question and answers. One of the beauties of this study CD is each time that you come up with a different test, next time you come up with a test, you will probably not see this question. But the next time you do see the question, which may be the second test down the road or the third test down the road, you will have the 4 answers, but they won't be in this order. For instance, the inch and a half is answer A right now. Next time it comes up, it may be answer C. So the answers are shuffled, and also the questions are shuffled. So what my recommendation is for you the first go around is to read the question, try to answer it, look it up in your code book. If you don't think you can find the answer, then what I do is I hit explanation. If you'll notice, it comes up with the correct answer, and it tells you where to find it in the code book. This is how to use this study CD. So in this case here, we're going to click C. We'll go to the next question. Now, if I inadvertently forget to answer a question and click next, you'll notice it says, no dummy, you've got to select a choice or check the mark question box, and it will allow you to review the question later. I always recommend people trying to answer the question, but if you're unsure, then I click the mark question, and then we can move on. Now, once you start getting pretty comfortable with it, then you do not have to hit the explanation button. Or if you don't want the explanation, you just want to show the answers, you can click this and it will automatically tell you the answer. So you go through, as I said before, the first go around I would use your explanation so you'd have a better understanding how to find the answer in the code book. The key issue is looking at the subject of the question. In this question here it says ramps shall have a maximum slope of blank. Well, ramps and maximum slope are key words. So I would go to the index of the code book and I would look up ramps and maximum slope on trying to find the answer. You will notice here we click explanation and you'll notice that there's an exception, maximum slope, R311.6.1 of 12.5%. That's how you find the answer. Once I get through, then I click end. It says, are you sure you want to end? Yes, I do. Now, if you'll notice, we marked one of the questions for review earlier. And if you'll notice, it comes up and says, you have the following questions marked for review. Do I want to review them or end the test? Well, let's say I want to review them. Now it brings me back to that. If you remember, we had already answered the question. We do this purposely due to the fact that if you run out of time, on the learning mode you can take all the time you want, but you'll notice in the next section we'll be talking about the testing mode, and you have to you're timed. But in this case here, I'm going to leave it. We're going to click submit. You'll notice it tells me I answered the question incorrectly. It tells me the correct answer. Okay, it ends my test. You'll notice that it gives me a score out of 10 out of 75. 75 is correct passing point. Plus it tells me where I'm having troubles. It has all my different categories and tells me where I had problems. So I can print this out. It even tells you the problems you're having, the question you're having problems in, and the correct answers. I can print this out for review, or I can close it. And then it brings us back to the main menu. This concludes our part on the learning mode. Our next video will be the certification mode that you can find on YouTube, or you can go to our website at www.studythecode for more information. Thanks for joining us.